Are we recording?
Starting
And
now.
we're back.
And we're back.
Welcome,
We're back.
Shteig and Patrice O'Neill. We're staying here in Cairo. We've got some Shiva monuments in the background. I visited them today, and we're still trying to figure out. No one really knows how they were built. No one really knows like how they were built. Like some people try to say, "Oh, it was ramps." That doesn't like really make sense with like physics. I don't really understand the physics, so I'm gonna blibe on that one. Maybe it was ramps. Some people say that it was aliens. I'm gonna blibe
Did
on
you
that
hear
one.
the theory that
I don't know
the
anything about
three
aliens.
smaller
But yeah,
pyramids were actually the ones that the Israelites were made to build? Because there's a theory that the Egyptians themselves were so struck by these giant pyramids that they wanted to like recreate them. And that's why there's the three smaller pyramids, and some people believe those are the pyramids that but either way, that still doesn't explain how they got like all the limestone and everything.
right. Yeah, they had limestone. Limestone was taken. The claim is that the limestone was taken away in the 11th century by some king to like make his palace. I didn't get a chance to visit it. If I was here for another day, maybe I would go see the limestone palace. But Schlegs?
So Gabriel ben Abraham told me about a Gemara, and
Who? Abu
maybe
Nathan?
Gabriel ben
Abu
Abraham.
Real.
So he told me about a Gemara. I don't know where. I'd have to ask him to find out. That says that the slaves of the Israelites in Egypt, they were 5 amos tall, and the Levites were 6 amos tall because they didn't have to do as much back-breaking labor. And that's why Moses was 10 amos tall, because he grew up in the palace of the king. So he didn't have to do any of the hard physical labor. So if we're talking about people that were potentially taller than we are now and stronger than we are now, maybe that was like, one of the methods by which they were able to build the larger structures that we can't explain
I'll,
how they did it.
I'll accept that as another one of the lives, another one of the
Live.
possibilities, and it's in the giant sugya, because we just don't understand how they're able to move these massive rocks up a ramp or up. How they're able to get it so high, how they're able to do it. So I'll accept theory of giants.
And how
I'll accept
perfect it was laid out.
I'll accept theory of aliens, but like that's like very hard to accept. Theory of theory of the theory of ramps is also very hard to accept. Um, and then there's the theory that maybe there was just um, different technology that we just didn't have. Like we just don't have the technology that they had back in that day. That's
And
my
it
favorite.
became
That's my favorite
lost.
theory.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that like there's like they had totally different technology able to build, and because we see other buildings in Georgia, other buildings in America. These unbelievable things. And also, those other buildings in America could also make sense with the giant theory because they had doors that like no person our size would make doors like that.
Right.
Interesting.
They, you know, so
Can you quickly show us the view?
what?
Can you quickly show us like the view of the situation?
This is what I can show you.
Wow.
Let me see if I can turn my camera away, and then I can like do it better.
Just for a second, I
Better
just wanted to
show.
see.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what it looked like. Maybe everybody else.
Wait, hold on. I'm setting camera. Wait, no, not mirror my camera, but front camera. Turn it to the old back camera. Flip around. And this is what we're looking at, Robo. Say. So this pyramid that like doesn't like completely go all the way to the top is the biggest pyramid, and this is like the second biggest pyramid or something. I don't know exactly, but I went into the second one with the limestone on top,
Wow.
Nice.
and they're doing like some like secret event, probably some propaganda. I don't know what they're talking about, but uh, they're doing some event. But now they're giving us music, so it should be a big excuse for them. That they're enhancing the shteig.
Let's go.
So okay, so I wanted to start off by talking about the pyramids because it's very relevant to the sugya how the pyramids were built, the sugya of history, like what was really going on, how did they build it, what was going on 4,000 years ago, which they say was built 4,000 years ago. You know, we know that the Israelites were in Egypt, and it says in in folk history that like the Jews were the ones who built the pyramids. Uh, and like okay, maybe if the Jews were like gigantic, but that would mean that the Egyptians were also gigantic. Because if the Egyptians weren't gigantic, we know that according to the Gemara, Pharaoh was a midget, and he had a very small
That's
door,
right.
and that's why like everyone would have to like bow down to him to go into his door. Moses just walked straight in, and like the door just like hiding before him. Like Moses wasn't bowing to Pharaoh, but but, but it's a big mystery, and as you guys know, as followers of Super Chose the Resistance know, and people of Shiva School of Shoal know that I love a good mystery, and I'm not afraid to say I don't know, and I don't
Right,
know
that's
how
the
these
best
pyramids were
thing
made.
to say.
Yeah, the Bleib schwer, very geschmack. I agree with you, Patrice. Okay, so, but it's good also to talk about the sugya, to see some things, and you know, it's all falling into place. The geula is coming. There's a pasuk in either Yirmiyahu or Yeshayahu or Yechezkel. I don't know. I'm have to blab on that one. But it says, Ani Hashem, I think it's Yeshaya. Ani Hashem, Ita Achishena. I am God. In His time, I will hasten it. And so we say, wait a second, is there a set time, or will it be hastened? So Rav Kahana explains the answer of the Gemara. The Gemara says, Zacha, if Am Yisrael is Zocha, it will be in a hastened matter. And Lo Zacha, if Am Yisrael is not Zocha, if humanity is not Zocha, it will still happen, but it will happen. There is a set time that it will happen. And this is how Rav Kahana explains the different prophecies. And some prophecies talk about grandeur, and right, and some prophecies talk about like tough wars and holocausts in the end of days. And so how could it be? There's two options, and so we're still hoping for the beautiful option, and we're hoping that we're Zocha, and we're hoping that God sees our suffering and sees our servitude and slavery and oppression, and He hears us calling out. The way that God saved us from Egypt was right. That it says um, right, that I heard the cries of Israel. They weren't even necessarily crying out to God. They were just like yelling out in agony from the Sheba, and God heard their calls, and He saved them. And we know that saving us from the Sheba is going to be greater than saving us from the Sheba of Egypt. Saving us from the Sheba of the Romans is going to be greater than saving us from the Sheba of Egypt. And so we gotta just We got to hope that pray that Hakadosh Baruch Hu hears our voice and hears our suffering and has mercy on us like a father unto a child. Zok Dehel Gemara Avodah Zarah Daf Tes Amud Aleph. Hold on, before we start, let me just flex for a second. No, I'm kidding. I'm just gonna send a quick tickety.
Welcome.
What up, bro?
Hey, man. It's nice to see you.
Good to be seen. How's everyone doing tonight?
I'm good. Not sure what just happened with Pashut.
Pashut jumped off, or is Shlomo
No, he's
on?
still here. Yeah. They're both still here.
What's up,
What's
Shlomo?
up, guys? Hey, what's up, bro? What's up, Scotty?
John, I'm on a train right now. I'm gonna lose service as soon as I leave the station, though, so I'm about here for 5 minutes. But
Awesome, bro. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks.
popped in to say hello.
Yeah, thank you so much.
There he is. Pashut. I don't know.
I'm texting him now. Even if you cut out, I'll let him know that you're here. He'll be happy that you joined.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, for sure, bro. Stay strong out there, bro.
I'm gonna see him in a few days anyway. He's going to Moldova. He can get over the border and get to Uman. I'm already in Ukraine, so I'll be there.
Nice,
But
bro.
we just
Awesome.
gotta see. Because, well, you know what it is? Like 2 years ago, they had the coronavirus lockdown, and so many. I mean, I was in Belarus at the time, and I was in the airport in Minsk, and so many Jews had gone down to like the Gomel region and tried to cross the border there, and they were not let in. They were turned away. So, like, when I went to the airport to fly out of Minsk to Serbia or Kiev or somewhere, there was like 200, 300 Hasidic Jews just scrambling for flights.
I think his phone may have
So,
died because he's going to one check.
He
So
just
let's just.
told me he had he's having signal issues.
Okay.
yeah, probably what it is.
So we can wait for him, Patricio and
Yeah.
Scott. If you have to go, we understand. But definitely hang around if you can.
Yeah, I mean, I got 4 minutes and this train's pulling out. I'm losing my signal, so.
Yeah,
But I'm glad he's doing the steigs again. Who got him to do a steig?
it was his initiative. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he
His
took a
initiative?
break
Nice.
for a while. And now he's back.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Scotty Simcoe.
Yeah, hey,
That's
brother, how you
back.
doing? How you doing? From
How you
Lviv,
do?
Ukraine.
You're in Lviv, Ukraine. Look where I am. Look where we're doing a share.
Where you at, bro?
I do it better. Check it out.
Checking it out, man.
Check it out. So we know that the Roman in the Vatican, they have like all these sarcophagi, and we say
Yeah.
like, where'd you get that sarcophagus? We found it. So, you know, like we know Egypt's role, and we also know that the pyramids on the dollar, and so we know America's connection to Egypt, and we know Rome's connection to Egypt. We know America's connection to Rome, and we know that Georgetown, before it was called Georgetown, it was called Rome, the first Jesuit college. You know, we know George Washington was a Freemason. Okay, so we spoke a little about this. Let's get into the Gemara. So the Gemara is going to talk about. We talk about at what point, Scotty. This is actually very interesting. For 26 years, we mentioned last time. For 26 years, the Israelites and the Romans were fighting against the Greeks together, and then the Romans, like they turned on Israel, and we're like, why'd you do that? And they're like, well, why'd you leave us why did Jacob leave Esau and abandon him then? And the Israelites were like, like, yeah. But, you know, we, so the Lord say, Itai Haitana, if that guy made a mistake with his counting of what exactly, how many years it was into the base of Mikdash that the Greeks took over from the Persians. And then from that the Romans took over, yes, Scotty was up. And the Romans took over the Greeks from the Hashmonaim. Yes,
See you guys.
All right.
I gotta go. Train's blowing out. Peace.
Yo, it was good to have you. Good to see you.
See you in a few days, man. Later.
I'll see you in Uma, baby. Mitzvah Hashem. It's a long time. I'm not even thinking about that yet. I'm just thinking about, okay, how do I get to the airport tomorrow, How do I get to sleep? Right now, all I'm thinking about is this year. So, Kama Hava Shaila L'Savra, Kama Ksivin Hitzvi Alayu Esrin Shnin. So, like, Umishbach L'Chumra V'Simanecha Zeli Asar Shanim Nikor Pazik Anuchi and Vivesecha Itai Safra Nishaile L'Tana Kama Veiter will minus it. Minayu Esrin Shnin 20 years. Umishbach L'Chumra V'Simanecha Safra Bitra Tana Tosefta Tosfa. Okay, I don't know what those 2 lines mean. It's very complicated. I want to move on to the next lines. We'll have to get shot. We're gonna put those lines on hold right now.
Sounds good.
All right. The next line of the Gemara is a brisa from Debei Eliyahu, right? Tana Debei Eliyahu. So it's a brisa from Eliyahu and from Elijah the prophet, and I want to get my fat head out of this so you can see the pyramid. Okay. He says, Sheish Shnin Shana Havi Alma. 6,000 years the world will be. Shnei Alafim Tohu. So the first 2,000, we have to see what that means. Chaos. Tohu. Shnei Alafim Torah. The next 2,000 years is going to be Torah. And the Shnei Alafim is Yemos Mashiach. Now, Yemos Mashiach we love. Yemos Mashiach, there's no difference between these days and the days of Mashiach except for the Shibud Malchus. Right now, we're about to have Rosh Hashanah. That Scotty's going to meet me in Uman, hopefully. And we're going to do Rosh Hashanah, and we're at a year. Shligs, what year is it? 5782, and it's going to be 5783?
That is correct.
Okay.
I'm gonna fact check that.
Yeah, give it a double check, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'm not positive. And he says, Abusenu Sharabu, because of our many sins, Yatsu Man Mashiach. We missed some of these days, which are supposed to be Yemos Mashiach. It sounds like we're in the Achishena path, right? Not in the Ve'ita path. That, like, it's going to happen. And we've seen Holocaust, and we've seen pogroms and crusades. So, ask the Gemara, Ma'in Shnei Alfei Torah. What is this? Shnei Alfei Torah Me'emas. When do the 2,000 years of Torah start? Inema, if you're going to say, Matan Torah ad Hashda, that it's from the time of Matan Torah until now. So, Leka Kulihai. Dechi Me'an Me'ayenet Behu Trei Alfei. So we just did a cheshbon in last year and a little bit in the beginning of today's year, but would be live on like all of those lines. And we just did a cheshbon about the years of the base of second temple and who was in charge. See last year for shteig on Super Show Nation, I believe. Um, Now they're doing a cheshbon about the times of the world. And so they said, if you're going to say it's from Matan Torah, until now, you don't have that much. Dechim me'ayenes behu trei alfei prate dehai alpha hu dehavai. So we got to see Rashi. It's like super dark here. Okay, Shnei alfei shanim. The Gemara says Shnei alfei shana, and Rashi says shanim. I don't know if that's significant, but it's worth it to at least realize, right? So Nigzar ala olam lehiskayim. The world was decreed that it was going to be 6,000 years. Kimin yimei shavua, like the days of the week. Do you see any? Oh, there you go. Like the days of the week. Just get out of that. I don't want no one cares to see me with the pyramids here. I'll give the M&M one eye. Illuminati. Yeshivas alapim Noach ha'olam. So in the 7th year, Rashi adds like what's going to happen afterwards. Rashi answers in the 7,000th year, the world rests. Now that sounds like Yom Shekulo Shabbos. It sounds like Olam Haba. It sounds like a day of like complete, chilling. So Shnei alapim Rishonim. Nigzar Lavdios Tohu. It was decreed that it was going to be complete chaos below Torah, with no Torah. Oh, that's why it's chaos. Shnei Alpim Torah. So Rashi says it's going to be Torah without Yemos HaMashiach. She says, Rashi, don't think that Yemos HaMashiach is not going to be Torah. It's just adding on.
Nice.
And if that's the case, that of course there's going to be Torah in the days of Messiah. So then there's always going to be chaos, even in the days of Torah, and even in the days of Messiah. Chaos. Part of the world is chaos. Vishnei alpei mos Mashiach uvavosenu sharabu yatzu. So it says, Vishnei alavim achronim mashe yatzu u'Mashiach lo ba. So according to the Tanai, Mashiach is not there yet. Okay, at the time maybe not. So what is the 2,000 years of Torah? So the Gemara says, first of all, great music, big schutz for these people. If you're saying that the days of the Torah is from Matan Torah and Elach, until now, Ad Gemar Arba'ez Alafim L'Brias Olam, until the end of 4,000, then it wouldn't be 2,000. If you're going to say, so they were in 4,000, this was like time of the Gemara, this was about 1,800 years ago. Makes sense that they're at the year 4,000. So if you're going to say that, well, then that's not the Chiyuv Ezbu, Vishnei Kamai Ditohu Kodem Matan Torah Trei Alafim Uprate Me'elef Gimel. So it was a little bit more than the Teguvas of the Avos was more than 2,000. The Torah wasn't given at the year 2,000. It was 2,000 and a little bit. Tough Mem Cheshanim. It was 2,448 years. Mishchachas Behu, right? So it doesn't stem. Garcinan Nikime Enes Behu. Vishnei Kodem Matan Torah. Below Garcinan. ועוד דחים העינס בפירושם כדפרישיס צבע חשוב שנות דור ודור. If you count all of the generations, שחי כל אחד קודם. Yo, guys, this is one of the biggest Rashis I've ever seen. He's going to go through the whole cheshbon, accounting of all of the years before Matan Torah. We're not going to do all that Rashi, but we'll take his word for it. It's not a big, it's a huge Rashi, and he just basically does math. And I want to see Gemara. So Yatu Me'em. So in name of Matan Torah, Hash Bega Kulei. The Chime Yenes Bu Trey Alpe Trate the Have Alpha Bu the Havai, right? So it turns out that it's not 2,000 years from Matan Torah until the times of the Tanaim. So they can't say, or maybe they're in the middle of the 2,000. They say, no, there's another problem. That the first 2,000 years and more was before Matan Torah. So there was no Torah. So when are we counting the years of the Torah? Ella mivi es nefesh asher asu b'charan. From the time that Abraham got all those converts, I guess, in Haran, after he fought Og maybe, or after he fought the kings, not Og went to go tell him that Lot was captured. And so he went, him and like the Nefesh, like his students, they went with him. I know exactly where. Ugmiri to me Abraham, Beishayda Bar Chamshim B'Tarti, he's 52 Ava. Kama Batsa, and how much less? Mistani Tana Arba Meos Arbaim, Mitamani Ishnin, 448 years. Havyan. It was that many years until the Torah was given. B'chimei Yenes Bay, when you look into it, man, Nefesh Asher Asu B'Charan, the Nefesh Asher Asu B'Charan. You know what? Shteig, can you give us context on Bereshit, Genesis 12:8?
Yep.
You see, like, when exactly that was?
I got you. That was Vayatek Misham.
At Matan Torah, it was Arba Meos, the Arbaim. It was 448 years from then until Matan Torah, Shmin Avyan. So again, okay. Yes, thanks. What do you say?
So it's right after Avram, not Abraham, Avram builds an altar to Hashem, who appeared to him.
Builds a covenant?
They arrived in Canaan. It was the first time Abraham came into Canaan with.
Was it right after Lech Lecha?
It was right after.
But he got, I'm reading the whole
Yeah.
Bible. He got Abraham and
Yeah,
Sarah,
it's
he
Lech
told
Lecha.
him to Noah.
It's the beginning of Lech Lecha.
Rakashu. The Nefesh Yeresu B'Charan, Yatsu, Leches Arta Canaan, Ve'evo Arta Canaan. No, so wasn't it
Yep.
after Lech Lecha? He goes, oh, maybe it was.
It is
He was
Lech
going,
Lecha. It is
all
Lech
right.
Lecha. It's the beginning of
How
Lech Lecha.
far after Lech Lecha is this?
It's the beginning of Lech Lecha.
No, I'm saying the verse of Lech Lecha. I mean, Psukim. Or Parakim.
Oh, it's the same parak. So it's
What?
7 pasukim. It's 8 pasukim from Aleph. It's
Okay,
7
great. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, so Abraham, so really the years of Torah start when Abraham moved to Israel, when Abraham made Aliyah.
Wow.
And he had students at the Nefesh Yeresu. But we know that there was a yeshiva Shem Be'ever, even before. So there was still Torah. Even in the days
Was
of
that in
chaos.
Tzfat? Was that in Tzfat?
What?
I think they say that the yeshiva of Shem and Ever is in Tzfat.
Okay, who says?
They have. I've been there. There's a cave there that they say is the shape,
Who
the
says?
cave that the people of the Makom call that place the cave of Shem and Ever
Where?
in Tzfat.
So people in Spot say that this is the place of Yeshiva Shem Ve'er?
That's the claim, and everybody there holds by that claim
Right.
being true.
Yeah,
I have not heard it.
People say that.
It's interesting. We'll have to look into
People say
it.
that, I guess. Yeah, definitely something we need to look into. But I'm more interested in the fact that there was the yeshiva before it was Shnas, like the 2,000 years of Torah, but there was still a yeshiva. How do we understand that? So the Gemara is going to say right now, Amar Papa Itai Dana Belo Yada Prate Kama Havi Shaile Sifra. I don't know what this is talking about. It's the same thing. They're asking the same questions, like Raji says he's talking about like the person who writes documents. Like he's got to know like what the years are and the whole cheshbon, the whole accounting of the years. What kind of things is if Tana made a mistake and didn't know the specifics? How much should he have asked, or how much should he have subtracted? The shaila, or how much should he have asked the writer of documents? Kama ksiv arba'in b'dimnei. So like something with 48. We mishgat le'l'chumra, and so we take the chumra and the siman and Tanat Tosefta. Tosefta here, so adding words or to Tosefta. Is that near Iker? And it's the same thing. And the siman is Arba'in Bishmona, 48 year. It's talking about the 48 cities of the Levium. That's how we know it's 48. B'tzai Sifra, Mishai Le'Letana. And if the guy who makes documents made a mistake, so then he should ask the teacher, the Tana, Kama Gitani, what does it say in the price of a nifzar minay arban bishmona, and subtracts 48. Umishchachas le'lechumra, and you find that we also go lechumra the other way. I have no idea. The simanecha safra b'tzira tana tosaf tosfa. So we dealt with at the beginning, okay? We dealt with at the beginning a very difficult Gemara. That if the Tana made a mistake, Itai Hai Tana, we're talking about the years that the Beis Hamikdash was around. Beluya the Prati Kama Haba L'Shaila L'Safra. So if the Tana makes a mistake, then you should ask the Safra, and you should add 20 years. And you find it a chumrah. And if the Safra, if the guy writing the document makes a mistake, ask the Dama how much, and then subtract 20 years. That was when it had to do with the Beis Hamikdash thing. But here it's adding 48 years and subtracting 48 years.
It's interesting.
I could see the connection between like why this Gemara came right after that Gemara. And I see it's very geschmack, and I understand the Cheshbon Hashanim, the calculation of the years of the Beis Hamikdash and the years of what this earth was. But the specifics of that, if he makes a mistake, I don't know Pshat. We have to see Rashi. Well, when it says an nefesh asubit b'charan, that he made these people soul, he says dashabidu l'orais, he mishabed them to the Torah though, and maybe that's why none of Abraham's students remained religious, because it became like a forcing them to be from. Okay, Rabosai. It's a little unclear to me what exactly what exactly this whole Itai Tana, Itai Safra. It's dark, the Rashi is small, and we're hitting almost the 40-minute mark. Even though at the beginning of this year we were talking about the pyramids. But we did get down to a dot. And I think this is a good place to stop. It could be that at the beginning of next year, we'll do a little chazara on this. Because Patricio, why do we
Yeah.
learn Gemara? Why do we learn Gemara?
Oh, it's a very important, source.
So my uncle says the answer is so that we could do chazar, that we could do reviewing. And we're
And go
blinding on
over it.
pyramids,
Yeah.
diving a little bit on what this Gemara was talking about. Maybe we'll review it a little bit next time. Good shteig. We were zochet to learn some Torah. It should be with us, enlighten us, brighten our days, and we should be zochet to really feel the emotion of Mashiach that we are currently in. Days of Messiah. Peace and peace, everybody. Much love.
Much love.
Much love. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.
This guy's-